is. It is. It's podcast day. We're excited. We're digging out there. What have we got? Ooh, yes.
Dude, it's fucking podcast day.
Takes you back to that time of when you remember what you were doing when you first listened to that album, or
What is going on, you champions? That's right. Yes.
What up?
Podcast day. Two dudes talk music. Yes, I've been stewing on this shit all day.
What is going on?
Yes.
It's that time. It's that time. Podcast time. Yeah, spill the beans, man. Spill the beans. We want it. We want this. The exclusive details.
My dude. Dude, can you believe that we did that shit?
Dude, I can't fucking believe we did that shit this morning.
Oh
What?
my god.
What an interview. What a chat. What a dude. Like, what an absolute... Oh.
Man, yeah. So, okay. Very, very special episode for this one. Very, very special episode. This is not even a normal episode. We haven't numbered it. We haven't nothing. This is just
Because it's so special.
special episode. We, this morning, had the absolute privilege of interviewing WAYLON REAVIS of Mushroomhead and Achilles Confession fame, talking all about the Nu Metal Mayhem tour that just got announced. And when I tell you that it was a fucking hell of a time talking to him, which you guys are all about to see, we're going to play that whole interview for you shortly. We're going to be hanging out in the chat. So if you want to talk to us, if you want to comment on stuff, ask us questions about the interview, get clarification on comments, because we spent like an hour and 20 talking to him.
Yeah.
And then we had like at least another half an hour after,
Yeah.
just chatting, whatever, shooting the shit with this guy. This is so nice, so humble, so eager to talk about everything, talk about music and just everything that's going on. So we had a blast talking to WAYLON. If you got any questions for us, pop them in the chat. We would love to hear about that one. Before we do get to that, though, as we said, this is all in connection with the Nu Metal Mayhem tour, which is hitting Australia and Aotearoa in October. It's going to be WAYLON, who is essentially doing a solo tour for this. It's not touring as Mushroomhead. It's not touring as Achilles Confession. It's a solo tour. He is going to be performing songs from Mushroomhead and Achilles Confession. So you're going to get a bit of both, which is awesome because everybody loves them some Mushroomhead, and they haven't been out here in a long fucking time. And obviously, then you're also on that tour. You've got Anders Kolsevny, which is going to be the original Slipknot vocalist. He's on that Mate, Feed, Kill, Repeat stuff. He was there before Corey came in. He's going to be coming out on this one, doing Mate, Feed, Kill, Repeat in full.
And that in itself is history in the making. If you're a Slipknot fan and an OG one, you get it. You get why this is so important. You have to go. I'm going. Dragon Lifeline.
Yeah, we're absolutely going to be there. We're absolutely going to be going to this one. And, seeing Mate, Feed, Kill, Repeat played in full, seeing those versions of any one of those songs is something you never think that's going to happen. And now, that you're going to get the whole thing. Holy shit. I cannot wait. You know what I'm most looking forward to from that? I mean, we talk about what we're looking forward to from WAYLON in there, but you know what I'm most looking forward to from Anders and the Mate, Feed, Kill, Repeat set?
What's that?
Come on, y'all.
Oh, dude, the whole thing's just gonna be fire, man. I'm gonna see if I can find a bootleg copy.
Slap, a nice fucking man.
And for all you people that think you know Slipknot, when you come and hear this, if you haven't heard it, you're gonna be shocked. You're gonna be real surprised, man.
If you haven't heard it, if you haven't sorted out, go and find it. I know for a fact there's a couple of versions up on YouTube. Go and find it. Have a listen to it. There will be some stuff you recognize and some stuff you don't. You get to hear some very different takes on what some of these songs could have turned into. So I think it's really, really cool. I'm stoked that we're going to have the opportunity to see these live. As we said before, tickets are going on sale. We keep saying it. This coming Monday, go and get your fucking tickets. NuMetalMayhem.com.
And don't forget, guys, there are actually VIP tickets.
Yes, there's VIP packages. So get onto that as well.
There may be a sneak peek in the interview of what may possibly happen if the VIP tickets go gangbusters enough. So if you make sure you're watching.
Yep, absolutely. So I think they're $35 for the early bird tickets, and then 45, general admission, and then when it gets a bit closer, when it gets right to the tail end of it, there'll be I think $55. So get in early and get them. We do run through the dates in the interview, but we'll go through them again with you now, just so that you don't forget. We have the 11th of October, that is at Crow Bar in Sydney. 12th of October, Enigma Bar in Adelaide. 13th of October, Bendigo Hotel in Melbourne. 14th, we got Mansfield Tavern in Brisbane. 15th of October is Moe's Desert Clubhouse on Gold Coast. 16th is the Irish Club Hotel in Toowoomba. Then they go across the ditch to Aotearoa. You're going to have the 18th of October at Neck of the Woods in Auckland. 19th of October at, is it 8 Bar Pool and Darts in Taranaki. 20th of October, Valhalla in Wellington. 21st of October, the Embankment in Christchurch. 22nd of October, Yonder in Queenstown. And the 23rd of October, Dive in Dunedin. Man, let me tell you, that's a fucking crazy 2 weeks. And along for the fucking ride with this as well.
Dude, stacked.
Chaosis, Sin Soto, and Piston Fist. Like, that, I mean, $35.
Dude.
$35 for all that.
Yeah. That's you're stealing that. You're literally stealing that show.
You really are. You really are. So you go to that. You want to get along to it because, as I said, I think it's the tour people didn't know they needed until they saw it.
Big thing is a lot of these shows are personal shows. They're really great venues to get real close and personal. No matter where you're standing, you're gonna have a good spot.
Yeah, and it's gonna be an experience. It's the kind of thing that it's only gonna happen this once.
We can't sell this enough.
And, it's only gonna happen this once, and it's never gonna happen again. You're never gonna get this opportunity to see something like this again. So, I mean, if you miss out on it, it's on you. You got no one else to blame. So don't miss out on it. Don't do that to yourself. Highly recommend that you get along to this one. Anyway, without further ado, let's throw to the video. Let's throw to the interview. As we said, pre-recorded interview, but we are going to be hanging out in the chat, having some drinks. So grab yourself a couple of drinks or spark up whatever you're sparking, and we will be hanging out in the chat, talking. If you got questions, if you want to ask us about stuff, it's going to be all good. Let's get to it, mate. Let's give the people what they want. Let's give them what they came to see.
Yeah, nice.
Thank you so much, Waylon, for joining us for the podcast. We really appreciate that. We were extremely excited to hear the announcement of the tour coming up in October. How are you feeling about it, man?
Australia, when I was in Mushroomhead, was my favorite place in the world I've ever been. And I've not been back since then. And to get to come back is just the greatest thing for me. Because I like my wife, like ever since we've been together, I have told her, she said, "What's your favorite place you ever went?" I said, "Australia," flat out. It was like the best time. I did so much, learned so much while I was down there, and just loved coming down there. It's just, and I'm so excited. I'm like, oh my God, I'm actually getting to go back. And
that's awesome.
That was a huge, just, I would come anyway. It's like as soon as they brought it up, I was like, let's do this. Let's go. And it was just one of those amazing things. Like I just absolutely I'm ecstatic, and I'm doing 6 Australia dates and 6 New Zealand dates, and I never got to go to New Zealand, so that's going to be a new experience for me. Yep. This will be the first time that I have actually went on stage and performed any Mushroomhead song since I left.
Wow. Okay.
And so you guys are going to get something, and I don't know if I'm ever doing it again.
Wow, so we're going to be the history.
And only thing.
This will be really special because, like, let me tell you, man, like, my discovery of Mushroomhead actually lines up a lot with you as well. Like, I sort of first found Mushroomhead, like, I think it was about 2003, so right around just before you kind of joined.
Yes.
And so, like, the first album that Mushroomhead released after I had discovered Mushroomhead was the first one that you were on in 2004, and then the first, obviously the tour in, what was it, like 2013 or something?
2014, it was Soundwave,
yeah, and then some of the side shows, like I was at Soundwave, that set, like, was right there at the barrier, and then I was at the the show at the side show at Luna Park as well with Korn and Rob Zombie.
That was so awesome.
I got to see you guys again there, and I mean, it was amazing to see you guys even like during the middle of the day at the festival, but then to see the whole light show and everything in the evening too was really special as well. So
I remember landing, and I'm just gonna be honest. So I've been sober for 7 years, almost 7 years now, and I remember when I landed, like the first thing we did was start drinking, and everybody knew what hotel we were at. I didn't even know what hotel was, but all the fans knew what hotel I was at.
Oh no!
And they all showed up, and it was I think I had more Bloody Marys that night than I would care to recall. And I remember that night looking, and it was my first night in Australia, and I looked out. These huge winged animals were outside. I said, "Oh my God, you got some beautiful birds!" And he goes, "Mate, those aren't birds; those are bats." And I was like, "What the?" And I was like, "Those are bats. Our bats in America are this big.
Yeah,
you guys have pterodactyls.
Yeah, we have fruit bats.
We got fruit bats, man. Yeah, they're big.
You
can't go through some of like the botanical gardens out here. You got to be careful in certain areas because the bats will congregate in the trees towards the end of the day, and you just get shit on.
Yeah.
Like
they've actually ripped apart the trees that bad that the leaves are bats.
Yeah,
it's just a whole tree of bats.
It's wild. So yeah, like I mean, man, you've been up and down the trenches in terms of the music industry, man. Like you've done a lot in your time in stuff, you know. Like you went through, I mean, even, you know, you were in the, you know, bands before Mushroomhead, then you joined there, as we said, 2004. You kind of came on there. You know, you were with the band for like, what was it, like 12 years or something like that?
Yeah, I was there for 12 years. Had just celebrated my 12th year anniversary, and no, 11 years. It was 11 years because I joined in 04. I left in 15. It was 11 year.
Yeah.
And it was time. It was, I mean, like the band's chemistry was changing. And I'll say it publicly now, like I shouldn't have left the way I did. And everybody's like, oh, it was so bad. And it was. But maturities happen, you know, forgiveness and, you know, hindsight. Should I have left? Yes. But should I left the way I did? No. And you know, I've spoke with certain members of the band, you know, and we've worked things out. And this took time. I mean, the way I left was so explosive, and I'm sorry for it because the people who suffered the most from it were the fans, and I'm so sorry for that. But with this opportunity, you know, it's like I get to go and do that one more time because, like I said, I don't know if I'll ever do this again. Like this might be a one and only time that I ever do a set like this because, you know, I've been more focused on doing a Killer's Confession, and they brought this up, but, you know, I've not broke or brought a Killer's Confession to Australia yet. So, like, I'm going to mix that up and introduce to you guys, you know, I'm going to do the Mushroomhead, but like after a Mushroomhead song, I'm going to introduce you to what I'm doing now. We got some bangers, man.
I'll tell you what,
you absolutely do. Yeah, that latest
Confession.
That latest song you guys released, like, what was it, last month? Tongue? Oh my God, dude.
Oh, we're playing it. I'll be playing it when I'm down there. Like, I will be sure because, like, having Anders there and him doing mate kill it's mate feed kill repeat, him doing that, and that, how heavy that is. I'm gonna need to do stuff like Tongue, you know. It's like I'm gonna need to do that heavy stuff, and I'm like, it's still surreal to me that I'm coming, and like
it's surreal to a lot of us.
Yeah, it's going to a lot of fans here. Like,
I think the feeling's mutual. Like, I'm just as excited to come see you guys as you guys are for me to come down there. And it's like, and I told my wife, I was like, honey, I said, I really want to break a Killer's Confession down there. I want to make an Australia yearly stop where I go once a year and come see. I love you guys that much. I love your country. And just
let me tell you, man. Let me tell you. I think I said it when I initially saw the post and shared it with people. I'm like, I think this is a tour that a lot of people didn't maybe realize they wanted until they saw it. And when they saw the post, they were like, "Oh my God, like that's amazing," you know, because a band like Mushroomhead, as you said, like I think that time in like 2014, that's like the only time Mushroom has come to Australia, I think. So
yes,
with the metal scene here, like they're big fans of that Mushroomhead stuff and of your work as well. I mean, I think A Killer's Confession gets a lot of plays out here, from what I can tell. Like at least in this at least the people I talk to, like everyone seems to know A Killer's Confession. Everyone seems down for it. Everyone seems into it. So,
honestly, I want to turn Australia with the Killer's Confession like it isn't here in the States, because we broke the band here in the States. And it took time. Like, you have to understand, when you make a new project, it doesn't matter what band you were in. You're on the first level again.
Yeah.
And it takes time. And this is the first time I've got to bring that music. And it stinks because I'm not bringing the band down with me. It's just me and my drummers coming down with me. Okay. And I have some guys down there that are going to be playing with me doing this stuff, because it's a very budgeted tour. And it's like, let's break this. Let's make this happen first. And then we'll bring A Killer's Confession down, and then you guys will get the full Killer's Confession set. I'll make stuff and have it shipped down there. And I got friends in Australia, like, hey, do you want to keep some stuff in storage when I come back? Because like it's really hard to travel with equipment and banners, and we do LED screens and stuff like that, so we have more of a visual show. And I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to implement that here, because I want to give you guys that show, but do it with the Mushroomhead songs too. I want to do it with both, but I haven't figured out how to do it yet. It's like I'm just like, okay, it's going to be a moment, but I don't want to shortchange anybody, because I keep reading the comments, and I rarely do this. We'll make a post and I'll never read it. Like, it's just like, it's kind of like one of those things. I stay off the internet as much as possible, but this time I was reading it and everybody's like, Waylon's going to bring it. And I'm like, oh shit, we're going to have to bring it.
Yeah.
And I know this. And so I got to go running. Because I know what it's like down there. And it's like, yeah, I played in one of the biggest crowds. The biggest crowd I've ever played in front of was in Australia. The biggest crowd I've ever played.
That's awesome.
And that was at the Sydney, that was at the Olympic Stadium. I walked out that day and I'd never seen that many people at once. And that was after the hangover of, like, I was on the side stage, Amara Marth was on, and I did all that drinking the night before. And I was like, oh my God, my head is hurting. And I've got my mask on, and it's like halfway on. I covered my eyes. I've got to one eye it because I got such a bad headache. And I hear this roar of a crowd, and there's a picture of it too. If you ever find a picture of me and I'm just this massive crowd from me and I've got my arms out like this right here, that's that moment. Wow. And what I'm saying at that moment is, what the fuck am I going to do with all y'all? That was like,
man. Like we're hungry for it. Like we don't get a lot of these international tours. We get some bands that will operate for decades and not come out here because we're
an asshole to get to.
We get it. It's a long fucking way, and as you said, getting stuff over here is a challenge, and it becomes very, very difficult for all but like the Metallicas of the world to bring their whole show out here, right? And
it's very hard. It's super hard. And what's best is if you make a B rig that you keep there, but you got to have a trust it. You got to have a friend. You got to have somebody that you can entrust with these possessions to be like, don't let nothing happen to this, because when I come, I need it. And that's what I'll probably end up trying to set up. But I mean, this is the initial start of me trying to break the band in Australia, and to break, just to be like, hey, I'm still alive. I'm still throwing down. I hope you enjoy this, and you guys have a good enough time to where you want to come back and see me do it again. Because like I said, this will probably be a one and only. When you get to hear the Mushroomhead stuff, this will be a one and only. And I promise you, I'm going to promise you this now, you are getting the gimmick.
Oh yes! I'm sorry. There's so many shorts coming from this to make for this show. Oh,
this is good, man. Like we're honestly,
I promise you, I'm going to give everything I've got for this. Like, I have not been this excited to do something in years. This is something. This means more to me, and And like, but my wife will tell you, it's like am I not, honey? I'm ready to go. I'm ready to do this. And the first thing I have is like, oh shit, I got to learn the Mushroomhead stuff again. It's like it's been so long since I've done it. But I'm gonna ask. We're gonna flip right now.
Okay.
What songs do y'all want to hear me sing?
I mean, look, I think, like, okay, I know it's not necessarily one from your era with the band, but I know like "Sun Doesn't Rise" is always hugely popular.
I'm gonna stray away from that. I don't want any issues. And I'm being honest, and I get that because I got brought up, and out of respect, I won't do that because I didn't have part to do with it. And I'm just, but I thought about it, and they did cross my mind. But it's like I don't want to make waves, but I also want to do the era I was in. So like I helped create the song. I'm attached to it. But I mean, if I had to, I could throw down on "Sun Doesn't Rise" like it was nobody's business too. So
I mean, I think for me, probably like the two that I'd be most excited for is 1200 and QWERTY. Those are probably the two I'd be most excited for personally.
I am doing both of those.
I think honestly, whatever, like I said, people are just really hungry for some of this stuff again, because as I said, we only got Mushroomhead the one time, so I think a lot of people are excited about that. And as I said, a lot of people, at least in my circles, they're very familiar with The Killer's Confession, and at least to the thing of they know that that's the thing you do now.
Yeah, yes, that's what I'm most looking forward to.
They'll be, and I really think that even if they only know it through, even if they haven't really listened to it a lot, I think they'll be like, once they see what you're bringing with that, they'll be like, oh shit, okay, like I'm on board with that now.
It's going to be a really good way to step your toe in and find out if it's going to be viable to bring A Killer's Confession out here.
Yeah, and I want it to be. And I've got to bring it now. If I want, I want to get my boys in AKC down here because my drummer's coming with me. I'm not coming across the world by myself. Yep. That's just scary. I'm sorry. I love you guys, but I don't want to be alone.
No, that's fair enough. You always need that familiar accent.
Exactly. But I'm going to go ahead and clarify something else too. I will be doing all the parts.
Oh hell yeah!
And I will be singing my parts and Jeff's parts. I will be doing both. I've thought about this, and I'll like, since you guys are there, I might give an option if I see a fan singing, having a spare mic, but come on, sing with me.
Do that. We love that.
That's
okay, because I want a lot of interaction.
Yeah, we love that shit. We love that shit here.
I mean,
definitely.
I'll sing it still, but like if somebody's like energy, I will give that opportunity. Be like, come here, help me out. It's like, come sing with me. And I absolutely. As you see, I'm in the building stages right now of how I want to do the show. I'm going to come out hard and heavy though. I will do something familiar. When the start of the show will be something you guys know, and just absolutely, it's going to be hell on wheels. I promise that.
I mean, I can tell
you're excited.
I can tell you're excited and passionate about it, because the way you're talking about this and trying to, throwing stuff at the wall and just talking about all these different ideas, it's exactly the same way when I'm excited about something, I'll talk about it and throw it out. And anyone I've done music with will confirm that. I just want to throw back for a second though. You did mention, obviously you mentioned, Jeffrey Nothing there. You've been going to try and do all of his parts too, which, I mean, that's going to be challenging in and of itself, because we know there's a lot of layering going on in there. I did see back in 2018, I saw you jumped up with his thing, and you guys did 1200 with him, and in that one, I also wanted to mention, I did see something a couple of years ago in an interview. There was you mentioned you were working on maybe recording a new track with him.
It just never came to fruition with Jeff's, with everything Jeff's going on. With Stacy and everything. And, Jeff's just doing what Jeff needs to do best for him and his family. and I love them all. You know, it's like, God, take care of your family first. I have it tattooed behind my ear, FOE, family over everything. You know, it's like, and when he's ready, I'll be here. You know, I'll be here, and that's a promise. But the fact is, it's like the time wasn't.
The timing didn't work out. That's that's understandable. I mean, he's got a lot going on, and you know, we obviously hope everything works out for the best.
It does. But guys, I'm going to go and tell you too, man. It's like I will be sitting here for months, for the next 2 months, getting ready for this. Like, I have other things happening here in the States. I have festivals and stuff I'm doing, and that's child's play to what I'm planning for you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
we love hearing that.
That's how much it means to me, because no other country has well, Europe has made a couple offers, but it's not been feasible for me to come. Like what they offered, I was like, I can't make that work. I can't get there. But this is the first time that's like, no, we're doing this A, B, C, and D, and you're going to be here. And it's like, oh shit, yes. And it's like, and I thrive off of this. And it's like, this has been something that's missing, where, you know, you got one market here in the States, and, you know, you got other markets around the world, and Australia has always been a market I want. And I want that market because I love your country. I learned that I like beans and eggs. I had no idea they go together. I learned that there. I learned I hate Vegemite, and I will trick as many people as I possibly can to eat it.
How did you
how did you eat it though? How did you did you take a spoon and eat it out of the jar, or did you eat it?
They did their normal thing and didn't tell me to put a slight. I know how to eat it.
Okay.
You put very little.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Very little. It's salty. No, they let me pile that stuff on like jam.
Oh,
and then
they did you dirty, man. They did you dirty.
Oh, that was dirty. Nice. And that's what I do to people now. I'm like, we call it the Vegemite challenge. I'm coming home with it too. I'm getting a whole tube of it just to be like, come here, let's see how strong your stomach is.
Go and buy the biggest jar you can at the supermarket.
Well, isn't it illegal in the US now?
A buddy of mine sent it to me. I had a tube of it, and my wife was so grossed out about it, she threw it away.
Oh no, that thing's like honey. You'll find it in an Australian pyramid.
Yeah, it's that shit.
Never goes bad. Never goes bad.
Never goes bad, honey.
Never goes bad.
And you should have seen the faces. Americans are used to sweet meat, like they're used to a different flavor. Like, and I loved. Like, I did not know that I loved beans with eggs. I had no idea. And it was like served every morning. I got it, and like, I think it was some kind of bacon. And like, it was not like American bacon.
No, you call it ham.
More like Canadian bacon, essentially, is what we do. It's a lot more like Canadian bacon.
It was like Canadian bacon and beans, and I'm like, and I was starving. And then all this wonderful fruit, you know, and I'd get all that, and I'd pile my plate up. And then one day I just got a plate and a spoonful of like egg and bean together. And it was the most magical shit I've ever put in my mouth. I was like, oh my God, who knew that this was genius? You know, this totally goes together. I learned that.
I'll give you a little Aussie favorite. You get Vegemite on toast. You get a runny egg and put that on your toast with the Vegemite on toast. It's a game changer, my friend.
I'll try it.
It's good.
I'll try it.
It's good.
I'll try it. She said I don't like runny eggs. I like scrambled. I like my eggs scrambled.
Well, mate, have them scrambled.
It works with scrambled.
They call them dippy. And I was like,
dippy
what the hell's
eggs.
Dippy?
Eggs.
See, and I was like, what the hell's dippy?
That's a British term.
Dip the toast in it. But I will not be going to KFC down there.
Either. No. That's
I will not be coming.
As soon as you hit over 30, KFC's a no-go.
No. You guys are from Australia. You know nothing about Kentucky.
Oh, that's
mate. I had KFC when I've been over in the States. It's like, okay, now here's my thing, right? Here's my thing. I've been over in the States, and there's this big whole thing about like, is Popeye's chicken better than KFC? Blah blah blah. I found that Popeye's chicken is better than US KFC, but KFC in Australia is better than Popeye's chicken, at least to me, or at least on par with it. Like, I find.
Let me tell you a little secret. Like, both of them suck. You need to go to Bojangles
Bojangles.
Bojangles. Oh man, now I got to come back
where
again.
the chicken's at. Or Cane's. You go to Cane's, Bojangles. But I mean, KFC is not as good. Like back in the 80s and stuff, when it was still called Kentucky Fried Chicken before it became just KFC, they changed a lot of it. And back in the day, like Kentucky Fried Chicken was absolutely banging. Like it was good. Yeah. But you're talking to a man from the South.
Yeah,
and everything
fried. Yeah.
I don't mess with. I like my pulled pork a certain way. You know, it's got to be smoked by some certain type of wood. You know, we call it a pig picking. You can just go walk up to the pig, pick whatever you want off of it.
I don't mind smoking a bit of meat myself. It's become a new big thing in Australia. And
smoking meat's the best.
Well, yeah, now I'm obsessed with it. Like, it's pretty much all I like to do now. Drink beer and smoke meat and do podcasts.
Yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time. So I wanted something else I wanted to ask you about as well. Obviously, you know, everyone knows about Mushroomhead. A lot of people know about A Killer's Confession. I wanted to dig a little bit deeper into some of the other bands that you've maybe been involved with over the years, and see what you can tell us a little bit about those. Because some of them I could find a bit more info, and some of them I could literally only find that you were involved in some way, and that's about it. So I want to start off. I want to go back all the way to 1999 with 3/4 Dead.
That was my original band. And it had 50 different names, but 3/4 Dead is that band. And JP, our bass player, is actually the guitarist from 3/4 Dead. Like he's in that Killer's Confession with me. That's where I started. That was just my learning curve, so to speak. That the band that I broke my teeth on and like learned how to write songs. Well, not really how to write songs. The stuff was, you know, we were kids. I mean, we didn't really have any musical lessons, and you know how to write and how to this. Like I just kind of like I played in the school band and I could read music and stuff, but I wasn't a singer. And this is where I had to cut my teeth and learn how to do all this stuff. And 3/4 Dead was like where it all began. But A Killer's Confession is what 3/4 Dead would have became.
Okay.
The sound, the idea is of that.
Because I can see, like, you know, I kind of went back and looked over it, and I mean, they got like a new singer after you moved on to other things. Like you're on that first album from 2002, and they kind of continued on for a bit. I haven't had a chance to check out too much of the more recent stuff. I did listen to that first album though from 2002, and I like that. That's some
Blueprint of a Strange Mind. That was when I was kind of getting it all together. I mean, I'm not going to say it's a commercial success and it is my magnum opus. No, I was a kid, and this is the moment that you can see that this kid's figuring it out. Like this is when I started figuring out structures and my voice and like figuring out how to, because I was the worst singer in the world for like years. Like I'll be the first one to tell you, I sucked. I got booed, and it motivated me. Like, and everybody's got their, like, everybody should get a prize. No. My prize was the boo, and the boo is where the motivation came from, and the motivation came from the failure, and the failure made me learn. And so I am a very strong advocate. If you ever get booed, figure out why. If it's over your music, figure out why. Figure out what you did wrong, because like you may think something sounds good, but it doesn't matter. It matters what the listener thinks. And like for years, it took me a while to learn that.
Yeah. And so another one I wanted to ask about was more of a side project, I think. Tenafly Viper.
Oh, that was just a drunk mess. That was drunken. Like every band member needed to go to NA and AA after that tour was over. Wow. After that band, one of those ones. Oh my God, that band was a drunken debauchery. Just absolutely the best time you think you could have had, but the recovery was. I will never, ever, ever write a song like Reno again, because I have never been in a band. Took it on tour. Every time I play that song, 30 shots of whiskey would show up, and if you didn't drink it, you got screamed pussy.
Yeah. Reno, I went and listened to it, and I was like, I watched the video and everything. I'm like, man, this is some,
dude. We were like same time Hell Yeah was coming out, and it was just that. And I'm Southern naturally, you know. And it's like, oh shit, let's just talk about let's just talk about riding four-wheelers, shooting guns, and drinking. You know, like, let's just go down that road. And we did it. And it was not really meant, because it started to blow up, and I'm glad it didn't, because I don't think I could have survived it. Like, that was just, whoa, man. It's like, I look through them years, and I'm so skinny, and I'm just like, I'm burning the candle from both ends, and I will never write songs like that again.
It's you mentioned Hell Yeah there. I definitely, especially from Reno, I was definitely getting those kind of vibes. So yeah, I mean, like, cool song. Like, I love rocking to it a little bit, but you can tell it's definitely a lot going on there for sure.
It was, and it's too much. Like, because I was doing it, and then I would open up for Mushroomhead and it, so I would be hammered. I mean, hammered to go on stage with Mushroomhead.
Yeah.
Like, but we were the first band, and I was about blacked out drunk by the time we finished.
Yeah.
Do you ever find that like a hard? Did you ever find that was a hard niche to carry? Because obviously that stigma of the drinking and sort of stuff like that revolves around the band.
Yeah.
Was that?
And you had to live up to it.
Yeah.
You had to live up to it. Like, exactly. It got to the point where it's like I would tell the bartender towards the end of it, like they're going to buy the shots. Send up tea. Here's the tea. It looks like whiskey. Like, be like, I'll send it up. Just take it in, make your money, whatever. Do not do this to me, because I cannot. My liver cannot do this. I cannot. I cannot be that guy that just is blacked out every day.
Definitely.
I mean, it was bad, and then we were mixing other things with it, and just
And I mean, that's why, you know, it's I mean, people that go through that kind of stuff. Obviously, that was probably one of the, you know, things that helped behind your decision to move towards being sober as well. I can see that you I was reading, I can see obviously your wife was a big factor in your decision to get sober as well.
Yes. My wife, like, definitely, like, Julie gave me a reason to live, and because I didn't really have one. I was at the end of a long road, and it's just like I didn't have purpose. I was lost. I didn't know who I was anymore. All I knew was this creature that I had become. And this goes back to Mushroomhead too. It's like I had become this thing, and I didn't want to be here anymore. And I don't really talk about that much. Like, I just didn't, like, I had lost life had lost its flavor, and my wife totally helped me find that.
Do you think that sort of stems from the highs and lows of being in that high intensity environment for such a long time, and then sort of having to, I guess, settle your feet back down on this planet in a weirder sort of way? Because being in that, it's like out of realm. Do you know what I mean? Being on the stage every night and carrying that persona all the time, and then sort of having to balance your feet back on solid ground again. How hard was that?
Well, it was always hard because I came in for J-Man. And so I never really fit in. So I had to find a way to fit in, and substance and coping. And I went about it the wrong way. So anybody that, and this is a warning to anybody that really feels that, you know, that's the way to cope. It's not. You got to dig in harder, and just substance abuse and to deal with depression and, you know, not quite fitting in and not knowing your place. It's never an answer. It's never the answer. The answer is studying and working hard. And I did both. Like, you got to understand, I did both, but I leaned harder to the party to deal with the emotions than I did to the buckling down and mastering the craft. And there's where I'm at now. And I've spoke Mushroomhead. I did Mushroomhead a disservice by not being the person I am now, if that makes sense. And that's a lot
of self accountability.
I feel like if they could have got my mindset now, it'd have been a game changer. It'd have been a complete game changer. They had a young kid who came out of nowhere and was thrown to the lions, so to speak, and it was like told, "You better survive." Now you can do that to me, and I'd be just fine. I'd be like, "Listen, do it." You know, it's like I know the situation. I know the pressures. I know what's coming around the door. I know what to avoid. Then nobody had that. Nobody taught me that. Nobody like prepared me for what it really was.
And I mean that led to, as you said, like things kind of came to a head with those guys, and you left. It was the situation was untenable for everybody involved, and I mean
Yes.
you pretty much gave up on music altogether, right?
Oh, I didn't want to. I never wanted to sing again. That's how bad it was. I never wanted to sing again. I wanted nothing to do with anything. I didn't want nothing to do with life. And my drug use spiraled. I did work with children during that year, and it tamed it. It did, but it also taught me how lucky I was. You know, and then after I left that, it spiraled again. I was in the ass end of a bad relationship, bad marriage. Should have ended years before, and then I got lucky and met my beautiful wife. And I looked at her the first night. And I said, "Can I steal you?" And she said, "Yeah."
Aww.
And she didn't really know the extent of the substance abuse at that point. And I left Cleveland, to get away from it. That was like, I was like, I'll run away from it and I'll get away from it. But those type of demons will find you no matter where you're at. You can't run from that stuff. And I had a moment, and I fell back into it. And she got me back to normal, but she wasn't having nothing to do with it. She threw me out. And I had such a bad experience during this moment. I looked at her and said, "I'm done. I'm never doing it again." And I haven't touched it since. Just like no rehab, no nothing. It was just straight willpower. Knowing this woman loved me, but it took her years. She kept her eye on me, and as she should have. As any recovering addict, you should keep your eye on them. They're an addict. They're always going to be an addict. But I'm one of those lucky few people that my body has, like, if you ate something bad and you get sick off of it, you're never doing it again. That's what happened to me. I got sick, and now the thought of it makes me sick. And like, I get this, think of a Clockwork Orange and how they brainwashed him. And every time he sees violence or hears certain music, he gets sick.
Yeah.
That's what happens to me when drugs are involved.
Oh, wow.
I cannot be around it. I cannot. It's like, I'm seriously just like, my mouth's watering, just wanting to be like talking about it. It's that. And I'm lucky. That's the best self-defense you could ever have.
Yeah. Well, I think I speak for pretty much the whole metal community when we say we are very, very glad that you were able to make that change for yourself and get healthy. Because
put on some weight.
It's look, it's a long journey, and as you say, these things, these struggles are never, they're never over. It's kind of a constant presence in people's lives there.
And now you get to come to Australia.
Yeah, now you get to come back down to Australia and have a great time here and enjoy it all the more, right?
And the history.
Well, you were saying this is the tour van, right? This is your tour van where you tour America.
Yes.
Wow.
Big old.
Wow.
Nice.
And here you go, guys.
Oh, the trailer in the back.
All the stuff.
Oh, wow.
Hell yeah. Haha. Very, very cool.
Right there. Got the old mask. Then it's got me on the back.
Oh, yeah. I'm loving that.
And then on this side, still use the bullhorn. I'll be bringing that down to Australia.
Yeah, nice.
I'll be bringing that in my bag. What do you need this for? Nothing. But actually, I'm hooking it up right now, and I'm bringing it home. And I'm getting like I said, I've got things I'm doing right now. And but guys, if you could give me a couple minutes.
Yeah, no, that's totally which is the
quick question.
You want to hit the cutaway, Kyle?
Yeah, I'll hit the cutaway. I'll hit the cutaway.
All right, cool.
Let's do it.
Getting to know you, getting to know all about you.
Now we are up to what we call the quick question quarter, spelt with all Q's, not spelt with K's, because we don't roll like that. But this is basically a series of rapid fire questions where we help our viewers and your fans get to know a little bit more about you and your history of music. So it's some things they maybe don't know. They start really easy and they get a little bit more involved as we go along. So let's kick it off. What was the first instrument that you ever learned to play?
A piano, actually. My sister, when I was very small, like had piano lessons, and she taught me my first chords and taught me how to play certain songs on piano. But I mean, I was little. I was like 3-4 years old.
Oh, that's awesome.
Ah, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. What was the first album that you purchased?
First album I ever purchased was the Fat Boys rap group. I got it for Christmas, and I didn't purchase it. It was given to me. It was the Fat Boys, but it was the first album I ever purchased with my own money. Would have to be Guns N' Roses at the Top of Destruction.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
oh yeah, loving that. Now I already know the answer to this next question, but because I did, like I said, I did my research for this one, but I want to get the story around it as well. The first live concert that you ever attended.
That would be Korn, Marilyn Manson, and Danzig back on May 5th, 1995.
Oh, that would have been one hell of a show.
Dude, Korn was just starting. Like, they were the opening act. Manson went on second, and then Danzig. And Manson and Korn were so good that I didn't even watch Danzig.
Now, is it true?
Not even watch.
Is it true that you snuck out of the house to go to that show?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's one worth sneaking out. That's one that's worth a whooping when you got home.
Oh, nobody ever found out, man. Nobody ever found out about that. And it was off to the races after that. Like I was going to concerts left and right.
I mean, that's a hell of a first show. It really is, especially for like.
Well, I mean, when Korn come out, it was such a different sound.
Yeah.
And it was so heavy, but it was so real. It didn't feel like Jonathan has a way with his lyrics to express his pain so well that it just, you connected with it. Like it was one of the things you truly connected with.
That's awesome. So what's an instrument that you've always wanted to learn but haven't been able to yet?
Guitar. Like I could play guitar, but I've not mastered it. That's yes.
Okay. Now look,
I would love to be able to shred on a guitar.
Shred, yeah.
Like I would love to be able to, yeah.
Now,
and you know what I'm saying? Like that, like I can play bar chords and some notes and stuff, and I can keep rhythm, but I can't shred.
Yeah. It's easy to pick up, but it's a very hard instrument to master for sure. Now, look, you've been up and down the roads, you've been around, you've been in and out of music. No, I will say, normally the people that we have on this show are not quite as high profile as yourself, so this is going to be an interesting response for this next question. But if you could pick one big band or artist to open a show for that you haven't already had the opportunity to do so, now this is like dream situation. So living or dead, active or not, whatever your preferred era of that band might be. If you could pick one big band or artist to open a show for that you haven't done so already, who would it be?
Two of them.
Mm-hmm.
There's two of them, and they're dead time. One is Rammstein, the other is Tool.
Oh,
okay,
good.
Yeah, that would be good. Well, now you know what's got to happen now, right? We got to have a Rammstein and Tool tour with Killer's Confession as the like main support. That's got to be like.
It's got to be there,
dude. You wouldn't even see me on that tour. I would be so fanboy, and it would be funny. I would be like, this is the greatest moment of my life. I can die now. You know, it's one of them moments.
If somehow someone that knows that any people that can make that happen, send this through. Like we need this to happen for sure.
100%.
I don't know how much music you kind of listen to outside of stuff, because I know for a lot of musicians that do it as a career, it kind of feels like work, and they tend not to listen to too much outside of that. But is there any bands or artists you're listening to at the moment that you think are underrated and that deserve more attention?
Outlier is one of them. A band I toured with. They're starting to come up. You can find them on Octane. God, let me think.
What would be a song?
Baby. What's that new song? Heartless.
All right.
The new song Heartless
on the list. Oh yeah, Outlier with a V instead of a U. Yeah.
Yes.
Wonderful. All right, I'm gonna make sure I get onto that.
Wonderful guys. I love those guys to death too.
Wicked. What is something that people might be surprised to learn about you?
I'm a nerd. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that.
I didn't know that. What do you nerd out for?
You were doing some streaming. You're a bit of a gamer.
Yeah, I'm a big gamer. God, I love old wrestling, like old WWF. Like yesterday, my heart broke when the Iron Sheik died.
Oh man, yeah. Rest in peace.
But I mean, like when I was a kid, like my dad thought that I was going to be a wrestler before a rock star. Wow. Like I was going to be the next Hulk Hogan or Sting. Just absolutely love the business. And like I will sit back on YouTube and watch old NWA, watch Dusty Rhodes or Ric Flair and the Four Horsemen, like watch that type of wrestling. Back when it was like really, like today it's sports entertainment. I like wrestling.
So do you know, are you friends with Andy from Every Time I Die? The band Every Time I Die? No?
No, I'm not.
Okay, because I was going to say he's actually a wrestler as well. Like was in the band, but also is working as a wrestler. There's a company that started up a few years ago called All Elite Wrestling, AEW. They're doing more of that wrestling type stuff. So I don't know if you're familiar with much of their stuff, but
yeah, I see AEW. I kind of watch it. Like honestly, I have such a bad taste in my mouth with wrestling, or like it kind of got to the point where I just don't enjoy it. As much. Because I like I like the black bad guy, good guy element. You know, it's like I want to believe that bad guy is the baddest there is, and he's out to get Nikki and the family. You know that, like back in the day when you had like Abdullah the Butcher and stuff, like you were scared to death of that man.
Yes,
like you were like, he's gonna eat me and my family. We're all gonna die, and you know, it's like it was scary, but I mean, but also there was a lot of blood, a lot of weapons, you know, barbed wire. You know, and they cross the line where, I mean, a lot of those wrestlers, I watch a lot of shoot interviews where they talk about they got stabbed and people trying to shoot them because, I mean, they were like, my granny, like she had to stop watching wrestling because the doctor said it was going to give her a heart attack. Like she got into it like that. And it was just one of those deals where, I mean, I just love that. Like I'm a big, you know, like Jim Cornette, everything he says about wrestling is the truth. He's got a big mouth and he's very opinionated, but when it comes to the business, that man says it better than anybody, and I believe what he's saying. You know, it's like you're right. They lost this, they lost this this attitude and everything, and he does. It's like, because I mean, if you do 50 high spots in a match, what's the high spot?
No, I get you. And spot fests are definitely a problem, and indie wrestling's moved in a kind of certain direction, and it's but it's, I mean, it's waves. It swings
and I mean,
around.
That's just me. I mean, that tells you how much I love wrestling too. Like,
no, absolutely, and I can tell.
Like, like I miss seeing like Nikita Koloff, and stuff like that. Like all those old wrestlers. That was what mattered to me, was seeing that. You know, it's like seeing these guys bigger than life, and then you had a good guy that was going to fight for you, and he was going, and it's just like that believability. And then now it's just like the last time that I was in love with the business was Steve Austin, that era, Rock, Steve, like you still had that, you know, you hated your boss. And can you go in and get this? That element of just, you know, it's like you believed him, you know, he's like, he didn't give a damn, he'd stun you. You know, and you still cheered for him. The Rock, you know, The Rock was like one of the best people to cut a promo, and I mean, as much as he wasn't as believable as Steve Austin, because like The Rock was nowhere near as good a wrestler, you know, as Steve Austin was. The Rock was more of a mouth and just a showman. He could sell like hell, though. He really could.
Absolutely. So. Next question. You've obviously been involved with a lot of bands over the years, released a lot of music, even guested on a few different things as well. What would you say is the cringiest band name or song name that you've ever been involved with? Something you look back on and you're like, oh, that was a bit try hard. That was a bit like, you know.
3 Quarters Dead. I think that was a little bit try hard. That name was very try hard.
Okay.
And the song Nameless, because we couldn't figure out the title of the song.
Oh, look, yeah, we've done that. One of my bands, we have a song literally just in brackets, no title. Like you look it up on Google and it's
Nameless.
yeah, no, I know. But we put that in the thing, and you look up the album on Google, and that track literally just there's nothing in there because Google thinks it's no actual title on there. It's crazy. It's so much fun.
Exactly.
All right. And okay, I'll go on. I'll skip that one because we're changing the questions here with this one. But last question in the quick question quarter is: if you could give your younger self, so if you could go back to when you were just starting out in music and give yourself one piece of advice, what would it be?
Stay away from drugs. Like you're going to make it. The party is not where it's going to be at. The party is not. Call your family more. If you're alone, turn to family, turn to blood.
That's awesome. That's really good. I mean, we try and, like obviously Kyle and myself haven't been around doing music nearly as long as you have, but like we've been around the trap a few times in here, and we're like, part of the reason we do the podcast is we want to try and get, stories and hope that maybe there's some younger viewers watching that might take some of this advice to heart, because we don't, we want to, I think part of the legacy that you want to leave with if you're doing music is you want to try and help other people understand things that took you way too long to learn. And you want to, if you can try and impart that advice on the people that are coming up and doing music now, save them from falling into a lot of the hassles and pitfalls that you fell into.
I tell anybody, don't do it for fame. Fame is fickle. Don't do it for that. Don't do it because you think you're going to make $1 million, because you're not. But the reality is the 1% of musicians make it like that. 1%. And then the rest of us are playing clubs, theaters, and you make great living, but you're not like you're dumping a shit ton of money into it too. You're not gonna be fat loaded millionaire. Don't go out there and break hearts. Don't go out there and be a whore. Don't do that. Do it because you absolutely love entertaining.
Yeah, without question. That's one of the best reasons to do it. It's the only reason.
First time anyone's ever said do it for the entertainment. Do it to entertain people.
Yeah. I mean, if you're not doing it for the love of it, why are you doing it? Any other reason?
I get a bigger reward in payment from seeing somebody sing my song back to me and a smile of like, this was the greatest day, and that's it.
Or the messages that you've saved for life.
My wife, or the messages. This lyric saved my life.
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
And do you get that? Do you get fans, telling you that your story and your search for your journey into sobriety has helped them in their own?
Every day.
It's good.
Every day. And it's like I feel like I'm for the broken in the underground. I'm not your pop star, but I am real, and I'm not going to be the biggest star in the world. But like, it seems I draw the broken to me, and it's okay, because if I can save one of them from having to hurt like I have, I've done my job.
That's awesome.
That's beautiful.
I love that. That's really good. All right. Let's move on to our next segment.
Oh, my personal favorite
segment of the thing. Personal favorite. Kyle, when you're ready.
All right, I'll hit it.
Hit the thing.
Fuck off, files.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now reached the point of the podcast where it is my favorite segment, Kyle's favorite segment, most people's favorite segment. We call it the fuck off files. The whole premise here is that if you were somehow given, godlike power and you could just snap your fingers and eliminate anything from the music industry, what would it be and why? We asked for 3 things. So what would be your first thing if you could just eliminate it from the music industry? What would it be and why?
I would eliminate metal artists trying to be pop artists. Ooh. I think that like a lot of metal has went pop. Like it's just this commercial. We're the anti-establishment. We are the thought that everybody thinks but are too scared to say. We are not your bands to be, it's like, getting out there and singing a pop chorus. And I think metal has got there, and it's terrible. So that'd be the first thing I would eliminate.
Okay.
Second thing I would eliminate. What would I eliminate in this industry? What? I'm thinking that this is a good question. But yeah, I can't stand the mixture of metal bands that are going pop and establishment, because like, and I'm gonna elaborate more on this because I feel like I should, because we're the free thinkers. We're the ones that say that's fucked up, and it's fucked up, and we stand against it. And it's just like everybody's scared anymore to speak their mind. A lot of censorship's happening, not per se that we're being forced to, but people are afraid to because of cancel culture and things like that. Now, granted, you shouldn't be a racist or bigot or anything like that, but still, you shouldn't be afraid to speak your mind. If you do sit with a certain way of thinking, you shouldn't be afraid to say that, and people are. And that bothers me. I was like, we are the free thinkers. And especially with metal has always been anti-establishment, against the grain, to be against the grain. Yeah. And I feel like we've gotten away from that. And that would be the first thing I would eliminate from the industry. It's like, stop being that. Stop trying to wear Gucci when you should be wearing Walmart.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm talking about. You think about the band. Yeah, you know who I'm talking about.
100%.
We are not.
You can tell there's bands out there that get very formulaic, and they kind of do it by the numbers, and it's unfortunate.
You knew there was a massive talent wasted. Massive change when people started to get upset against Rage Against the Machine when they worked out what machine they were raging against. They were always anti-establishment. You know what I mean? And
Rage is the biggest posers right now ever.
Yeah.
Like,
and it freezes.
Oh no, it froze.
Hey,
there we go.
Okay.
You there?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Rage Against the Machine is the biggest set of posers ever right now. Can you hear?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yep.
Oh, why does this always happen during the best bits?
All right, play it again. It's on the edit.
We'll fix this in edit. I'll fix this in edit.
Yeah, we'll tidy this up in the edit for sure.
Why?
Always.
Why? And I'm not afraid of this edit to say either.
No. I mean, yeah.
They are the biggest posers ever. Because fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Do what your government tells you.
Yeah, no.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You have been anti-establishment your entire career, and then you come out. You would have like. Doesn't matter how you feel about the situation. You don't reverse yourself like that, even though you may believe in what you're saying on that.
I feel you.
You guys have been speaking against the American government for years, speaking out against the atrocities that the government has said, and now you're trying to tell me the government has the best interest in mind for me?
Yeah.
You poser.
Yeah, that's a valid point. It's a very valid point.
I mean, yeah, there was
and I'm not saying that they're wrong about what they're saying. I'm just saying you just reversed yourself from your entire career.
Yeah. It's either that or they're just trying to go against the grain to no matter what, because people are going, yeah, fuck the government. They're going, no, government's fine. We're just going to go against the grain.
But that's the thing. And you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I do.
It's like that's something you don't do because, I mean, Rage was built on that.
They were.
That mistrust of the government. And for them to come out and say that and just like, what? You know, it's like, and I think it'd been best. And it probably, their management's like, hey, you need to say this and that kind, and that stuff happens. But as a band that was named Rage Against the Machine, keep your mouth shut.
Yeah,
don't talk about the machine.
It was better to say nothing than say anything at all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying what they said was wrong.
No.
Don't take it like that. And that I'm conspiracy theorist or anything like that. I'm just.
It's a hard line to walk.
It is.
It's a hard line to walk because obviously, you know, they wanted to ensure that their fans were doing the right thing and taking care of their fans and stuff. I think, you know, and to me, like, I kind of took it more as, like, I took it less as, okay, we need to trust what the government's saying, and more, well, scientists are saying this. Like, we're not taking it from the government's advice, we're taking it from the scientists. But, you know, I mean, everyone kind of can view it in their own way, I guess, you know.
And that's how I viewed it. Was like, you, of all bands, because like every day it was Fauci and the government pushing it here in the States. I don't know how it was in Australia, but that's how it was here. And it's fine, you know. It's like, you do what protects you. And I was on both sides. If you didn't want to get it, I understood. I understood not wanting to take like being an addict and be like, I wouldn't really want to put something in my system I don't know what does either, you know. But at the same time, I want to work, so I got to do what I got to do, you know. It's like so I understood all sides. Like, I can look at all sides, you know, and understand. But when it comes to saying that, like, that was, and then they had the $300 ticket, how much it was to go see Rage Against the Machine. I was like,
I was supposed to see him. I had a ticket to see him when I was coming over, and then basically his leg injury was like, nah, fuck that. So they kind of had to push him back, which I understand.
I didn't like Rage.
Woo.
It was too political for me.
Yeah, fair enough.
Here's my thing with Rage Against the Machine. Like, obviously, you know, the musical talent is absolutely, like, undeniable musical talent there.
Yeah.
I just think that they kind of, you could take all of their songs and put
Make
them in
one
a
song.
file and then just randomly divide them up, and you would have 4 albums that sound the same as the 4 albums they have now.
Yeah.
And that's, like, you know, they're obviously were doing a thing and they were on a certain vibe, and if they had continued on rather than going separate ways, and you know, the boys doing the audio slave stuff and everything, which
I prefer the audio slave stuff.
I mean, Chris Cornell is the man, but
Chris Cornell and like those fucking Rage Against the Machine boys coming together.
That was the greatest thing.
That was a
slice bread.
You know, it's like Killing in the Name Of was like the end of it for me. I like Bulls on Parade. I was like, wow. It's like, okay, you know, it's like, and then I heard it on the radio all the time, and then I read his lyrics, and I was just like, this is way too political for me. You know, it's like, I'm not a political artist. I'm not. It's like I am a very private person when it comes to my political views, and I'm that way because it's not good to talk politics, as it's not good to talk religion, and it's just two things. You're going to offend somebody, and as if you have any type of manners, you will avoid those conversations. You know, it's like
and they're very personal things too.
He was a great rapper. He was, but it's like, it's just, you know, I look back at it now and I'm like, was it a show? Like, it is, like, as I questioned it then, just like, you know, is this just him just, you know, like, just trying to get a rise out of people? He's okay. He's an educated protester, and that's all good. And he's got all this information, but are you doing this to bring knowledge and educate, or are you just trying to influence so people buy your albums?
Yeah, never thought of it like that. No, that's
I mean,
good.
it's a difficult thing, and
when
I
think
objective way of looking at it. Size, whenever you got a band that size, there's going to be there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of stuff we're not going to, you know, that I think people just we're not going to know about the band, because they're going to have their thing, and they're at that kind of size and that level where the only information the public's really going to know is whatever that they want us to know.
Yeah, exactly. It's like with me, you know, it's like my songs are like, I got a new lyric, and I'll just say it now. It's like, you know, there is no hidden meanings. Fuck all your feelings. What you see is what you get. I hide nothing, and I'm not that type of writer. I've always been just, it is what it is. I'm gonna say what I mean what I say, you know. And I get that artistic. You know, we're gonna talk about things, and it's gonna bounce left and right and sideways, and you're gonna get 50 different meanings out of it. Not me. I'm gonna tell you what I mean. I'm gonna say it one time, and I'm not gonna repeat myself. But it is what it is. There is no hidden meaning off of anything I'm saying. Like,
it's not open for interpretation. What you're saying is what you mean.
Yeah,
no,
like,
good.
You know, there is. I don't leave room for interpretation. Oh, I won't. Okay. I won't.
All right. So, well, let's go back then. So, what's the second thing that you would snap out of the music industry if you could?
I would give back to the I'd pay the musicians more off the royalties off the streaming. I think that's bullshit. I feel like 0.00437 a spin is nothing, and it's like, who's really making money off of Spotify? Who's making this money? It's like, you're paying me nothing for a stream, and that I would pay for that. And third, I would bring back real MTV.
Oh, please, please.
Real MTV with music videos.
Oh,
bring back Headbangers Ball.
Music television.
Bring back MTV Raps. Bring back music television.
Yes, definitely.
Man, the best part, and even then it was like Beavis and Butthead. Beavis and Butthead was like the first inception of a TV show in MTV. But they at least put music videos in the TV show. Like, they at least kept...
It all became reality TV. And that's scripted. That's fake. Everything you're consuming is fake.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. This industry, everything about it, is all manipulated to the consumer.
Well,
don't lie to yourself about this. It's a marketing. I'm an independent artist, and I can say firsthand, it takes tons and tons and tons of money to market yourself, and you're marketing to a target audience, and you're appealing to what they like, no matter if it's the right or the left or whatever. You're marketing. It is a manipulation of opinion and sight of who the band is. I'm gonna say it, we are a killer's confession.
Yeah,
you can kill a lot of things.
Yeah.
We're just going to tell you about it.
Exactly. So that's awesome. So that's the three really good picks there, and I appreciate that perspective of someone that's been, deeper into the industry than we have, and it's been much more around the world
here looking up at it. You're on the level.
You're
on the level.
No, I'm down here with you guys. Never put me there. I've been in the industry. I'm still a fan. And this is, and a lot of people a lot of people might disagree with what I said earlier, but the fact is, as a fan, I look at songs like that. I look at is this just cliche? Is this a marketing technique? Are we just talking about what's hot right now? Because, it's going to be selling because people are being fed this. They're being fed all of this information, and you're just capitalizing on it.
Mm.
And I mean, look, that's something as well that I think I really have enjoyed about seeing the evolution of A Killer's Confession over the course of the first few albums and into, what I'm assuming is a fourth album on the way.
Victim 1 is the name of that album.
Yeah. It's that you guys are very much like, we're just going to do what we want musically. Yeah. Like, we're not going to be like, oh no, that song's too much like this for us, so we're not going to include it. You're like, no, we like the song, we enjoy playing it, it means something to us, so we're going to fucking put it on the album. And the albums are like something for everybody.
Well, our biggest song is not a heavy song at all. It's the lightest song. It's probably the most rock song I've ever done. Numb. It's our biggest song to date, and that song Tommy Church and myself wrote in like 20 minutes.
Yeah,
and
that's all it takes.
It's just
like paranoid with filler,
and it's not heavy. It's not, and I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play it for you guys when we get there. That's
awesome.
I'm gonna do Numb, but but also at the same time, it's the most difficult vocal song I've ever done.
Wow.
I hit notes in that song that I've never even tried to hit, but the song itself is about my career and the abuse and everything, and how it made me become numb, and how I became just complacent with everything, and just like, it is what it is, and it's a place you don't want to be when you're just like, fuck it, you don't want to ever hit that. You always want a reason to move forward. You don't want to be numb. Some people I hurt so bad I just don't want to feel anymore. You don't want that, and that song's a warning about that. When the life, it says in the song, in the life of the damned, because that's what you become.
Yeah,
you're damned to be here to just roam.
I feel that. So we touched briefly there on Victim 1, the new album that's there, Is that I know that the last album you guys released, you kind of did that waterfall strategy. You released like a song every, every few weeks or something, every month.
Yes, we were one of the first bands to do that too.
Is that something that you're going to look at doing again with Victim One, or are you thinking of going a bit more traditional with it and dropping kind of the whole thing?
Probably more traditional this time, because Spotify, you have to play their algorithm, you have to play the game, 3 songs album, and it sucks because those 3 songs will get the biggest push out of all of it, and then the album drops and it's done. You can't push anything else. You can't come back a year later and be like, track 8 was a ballad single that would absolutely just blow up. You can't do that. Once it's done, it's done. And that's the 4th thing I would change. That bullshit. You guys need to be patient with music. The reason music has become so stale is because you're rushing artists to write an album.
We were literally talking about this shit last night on our stream last night. We were talking about people not being patient with music and not giving it an opportunity to breathe before they make a decision on it.
It's because consumers are spoiled. It's because consumers are spoiled. You can listen to too much at one time.
Spoiled.
Yeah.
And I did that. I put out so many songs so quickly that I burnt myself out. And this album, I just won't let anything go. Like you could tell with Tongue, the production's up, everything's up. Yeah. It's very, very much, and it's a concept album.
Yes,
this is a concept album.
So it's one of those ones you have to listen to in order.
I don't want to get you guys banned or anything, so I'm not going to say our slogan, but I take it you've seen Save a Kid, have you not?
Yes.
Yes. This album is all about that. Oh. This album is a vigilante. This album is about a serial killer. This album is about somebody, but he doesn't do it to he doesn't do it to innocents. He does it to bad people. He doesn't, and it's a split personality. And I deal with this every day because I told you briefly that I worked with children, and I worked with children that have been through sex trafficking.
Whoa,
and
that's heavy.
I know the truth. And if people can say it's conspiracy, they can say whatever. There are more sex slaves on this planet than you would ever believe, and it's a shame in their children. And I have a very blunt way of putting it. And when you read that, that is not me just jumping on a bandwagon. That is how I truly feel.
Oh, look, man, I have a similar slogan myself here. I have a T-shirt that I love to wear. It's called "Racist Lives Don't Matter," and it's got like the photo on it is like a Klansman being hung. So I'm on like,
amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
So
and that's the thing. People ask me, it's like, well, how do you feel that crime's worth that punishment? And I'll answer it for you right now. The fact is, the life that person, that child was going to live is dead.
Yeah.
It will never heal completely.
No, you've taken the child's innocence away.
Innocence is gone. The child, it will most of the time with a male, they're going to become the offender. They're going to do it again. They're going to repeat the cycle. That's going to happen. The girl's going to have trust issues. The love, the embrace, and the healing never fully happens. It's like once you do that to somebody, you wrong them in such a way, especially in a professional way, you took a life. So I'm eye for an eye.
Absolutely. So this album, are we thinking we might see it before the end of the year, or if you can't tell us too much, then that's okay. But I just thought we'd ask.
I'm hoping so. I leave in a couple of weeks. I'm gonna go put final vocals down, and I'm working with a producer, and we're gonna sort all that out. And we have 10 songs, and I'm going to start debuting some of them live this summer. I will be playing a few of them in Australia. And they might be unreleased still at the time. So know this. Like I'm brave enough to be like, it's like I could play the songs everybody's heard, or here's something new, that no one's ever heard.
Well, look, people are going to be gagging for it. People are going to be so eager to see you come down and perform. Everything old, Mushroomhead stuff, Killer's Confession, old Killer's Confession stuff, new Killer's Confession stuff. I think people are just going to be really, really excited to see you.
And that's the thing. It's hard to pick a set like this. It's like I have like 40 songs with a Killer's Confession, and I have 3 albums to pick through with with Mushroomhead, and it's just like that is such. I don't want to disappoint, but at the same time, what do you do?
Well, I think there's going to be. I think whatever you do, there's going to be someone that's going to be disappointed because their favorite song wasn't on there, and so I think at the end of the day, the best decision that you can make is go
with your gut.
This is what's going to be the most meaningful for me to perform, and because that passion will translate. That passion will translate, and the fans will. I think the fans will enjoy it because they've. It's been so long since they've had an opportunity to see Mushroomhead or anything from yourself, and like the first time Killer's Confessions come down. Is this the first time Killer's Confessions played outside of the US?
Yes. No, we played.
Or not?
We have played in Canada, but
okay,
I don't think.
But it's the first time that you'll be coming over and performing this Killer's Confession stuff outside of North America, which is amazing. Yeah. Like I'm stoked that Australia gets to be that special,
awesome.
On that list.
This might be the only time I ever do this, where you're going to get this. I may never do this again because like honestly, it's never been in my MO to do Mushroomhead stuff.
Yeah,
that's
understandable. You want to look forward. You want to look forward to what's in the future rather than in the past.
They know me more for the Mushroomhead stuff. I'm trying to break it. I'm not coming with a Killer's Confession. I'm coming as Waylon Reavis, and you can see that on the bill. I'm being billed as Waylon Reavis, so it's a different situation. I've never went solo like this. Where it's like I'm going as me, which is cool. It's like and everything, but I've never done it. Like this is a first. It's like usually I've got to be a part of or something. This is the first time it's like, okay, this is Waylon, like let's go do what Waylon does. And I'm like, that puts me in a different mindset as well.
Well, I can tell as I said, the buzz that's been happening down here is crazy. We'll wrap this up very shortly, but I did want to ask you about something. Well, we've got you here. What can you tell me about Dick Feltersnatch?
Oh my God!
He does his research.
I told you I did my research for this, man.
He's live on the scene reporting Dick Feltersnatch. The Circus of Dead Squirrels, man. It was just a character that I would go crowd and have a microphone. Dick Feltersnatch here. You're having a good time tonight. Back to you.
I love that. That's awesome. That's really, really cool.
My God. Yeah. I haven't heard that name in forever.
Yeah. Well, I saw that name floating around with the stuff. I'm like, okay, I definitely need to ask about this because I like that's good though. I dig that.
I come in, I shaved my head like completely, but I had hair like I just bald. I did a little bit of a comb over, and I put these like super thick black glasses on with tape in the middle, and that was match.
Nice. That's awesome. Well, yeah. So, I mean, once again, thank you so much for agreeing to do this, talking to us, man. And I mean, as I said, we personally are very much looking forward to it, and I know that the Aussie metal scene is really, really hyped for this show. As I said,
the venue they picked for the Sydney show is just
yeah, it's nice. It's a really good bunch of venues. And look, I mean, I don't know too much about the metal scene over in New Zealand or Aotearoa, as is also often referred to now. But I'm sure they're just as excited to have you there as well. I know Joel from Chaos has done a lot of work to kind of bring this tour together. So
he's been more awesome. He's like one of the coolest people I bet in the industry. We need some more guys like him.
Yeah, definitely. So much love to Joel from Chaos, and I can tell you,
been nothing but accommodating and just very intelligent about how to do it. Like that's the one thing if I can give him any credit, he's been so smart on like the marketing and like listen. And he was the one that like really pushed me doing the Mushroomhead stuff. Like he was the one, and he's like, listen, he goes, we're trying to bring you something here. It's like you need to do this. This is going to be very important to break AKC. We need to do this, and he was the one.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've met him a couple of times. He's definitely knows his shit. He's a very smart guy. Knows his shit. So
him and my wife working hand in hand together.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you guys, you and your wife on a record label, right?
We did.
You did.
We
Okay.
we did. We walked away from Wake Up, and it's a good thing because it's too stressful. My wife and I only concern ourselves with AKC. We live in the confession world, and it's more important. You know, we like to help people, but too many people have slapped back with the help.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, we're done with that. We're like, no, we're not helping anybody. No, like, you really have to earn it to get us to do something now, and that's nothing. No shade at anyone. Please don't take, but a few bad apples can ruin the bunch.
Definitely. Well, I can tell, as I said, I'm so glad to see that you're as excited to come out here as we are as excited to have you come out here. I could say for a fact that Kyle and myself will absolutely be at least one of the shows.
I'll be at the Sydney one for sure. As soon as the tickets go on sale, I'll be getting the VIP tickets. So
Kyle will be at the Sydney leg. I'll be at least one of the shows up in Queensland, probably the Brisbane show at a bare minimum, but hopefully more of them. We'll see what happens. And let me tell you as well, I don't know, obviously you've been talking with Joel. I don't know if you've checked out any of Chaos's music, but
yes,
that's like a whole fucking, that's some really good shit. That's a band you'll be excited to play with, I'm sure. All the bands that have been announced for this tour so far.
With them, I think they're actually going to be part of those guys. Going to be part of my band for while I'm down there.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
Because like I said, my drummer's the only one coming with me, and like, we're putting it all together. And I come down, I'm gonna rehearse with them, and you know, it's like, and it's odd to come down not with the band that you play with.
Yeah.
And like I said, this is a solo thing, but I'm honored that he has enough faith in his guys that he's putting with me. And I was like, well, if you trust them, I'm going to trust them, and we're going to put it all, and we're going to make it amazing.
Without a doubt, man. They are more than up to the task. I can say that from personal experience. I've seen those guys a few times, and they are extremely talented bunch of people. So, I don't think you could have a better group to be working on with this stuff. So,
and you've got a stacked lineup there, fist and fist.
And like in a band, it's like you got to know the guys.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, man, this is. It may take a show or two for me to be like, okay, I can run around and kick you.
I think they'll be excited too. They'll all be really excited to be working with you too for that. So just before we bring it home here, as we say, this is the Nu Metal Mayhem Tour, Australia and Aotearoa. October, we're talking 11th of October in Sydney, 12th of October in Adelaide, 13th of October in Melbourne, 14th of October in Brisbane, 15th of October in Gold Coast, 16th of October in Toowoomba, then going across the ditch to Aotearoa with the 18th in Auckland, the 19th in Taranaki, the 20th in Wellington, 21st at Christchurch, 22nd in Queenstown, and 23rd in Dunedin. That's a lot of shows, man. That's going to be exhausting.
And it's a fly day.
In the middle of it.
It's a fly day. Yeah.
Oh, man. You're going to be working hard. But look, thank you so much. We really, really appreciate you taking time to speak to us. And look, anytime, hopefully this does set the groundwork for A Killer's Confession to come out and do some tours out here. I have no doubt that you'll be received very welcomingly with open arms by the Australian metal community.
And I'll be there doing the same thing. They'll be well received by me because I'm so excited. I've got a lot of special stuff in store. I think with the VIP, I limit it, and I'm not going to limit it this, and I might make it a Q&A. Where you can come in and ask the questions.
Cool.
In a private situation.
The people would love that.
Yeah, people like that. I did one with Fozzy when I was in Cincinnati. I went and saw Fozzy at
Jericho's a sweetheart.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's so good. He's so good. Yeah, well, all right. Thank you very much. We will wrap it up there. Don't go anywhere, mate, because we'll do a little bit of a post thing, but we're going to cut the thing off there.
Hey,
we are back. So thank you so much for watching that, guys. We had such a good time talking with Waylon. You can tell he's as passionate about music as we are. It was amazing. It was such a good time talking to him, man.
Pure Southern sweetheart.
It was difficult to pull away from it at some points. Let me tell you that. Like finding an opportunity to move on to the next thing or to, chat was just like, so good. It was so good.
He's a great talker. He's just a pure gentleman. Can't say enough good things about him.
Nice. And like I said, we spent like easily another half hour, 45 minutes chatting to him afterwards, just shooting the shit about all sorts of stuff. So we are absolutely going to be at these shows in some capacity. We are going to try and get some of the other bands on. That's something that we're working on too in the run up to it. So that's going to be exciting.
To our 3 new followers tonight, thank you so much.
Followers. Thank you so much to all our new followers. We couldn't shout you out during the stream because that was a video we recorded earlier, but hopefully you saw our things in the chat. Just going to quickly run down those dates again. So this tour goes from the 11th of October through to the 23rd of October across Australia and Aotearoa. If you go to our page, Two Dudes Talk Music on Facebook, we've got the posts up there about it. Chaosis has got posts up. WAYLON and Killer's Confession has all the tour dates posted there and everything as well. So you'll be seeing plenty of this one. But go over and buy your tickets. It's www.newmetalmayhem.com. That's new spelled NU as the way it should be.
Yes.
And we're out of here. Just before we go though, really quick, we want to say next week is going to be a big one. That's going to be our 1-year anniversary stream. So we are really excited for that. We're just going to have a bunch of drinks with a bunch of cool people, and
we're just
going to
listen to music
only. We're going to listen to a bunch of music videos. We're going to show a bunch of weird random shit. So come with your suggestions. Come correct with that, because if you got cool suggestions, we're going to want to hear about them. Yeah. Oh, and yes, big love to Chaosis Official for the follow.
Thank you so much for the follow.
Thank you guys. And
the more obscure the name, the better. We don't want
more obscure. We want that weird shit.
Five Fist Thunderfuck or something like that. Some weird fucking name like that.
So another quick announcement before we take off today. We are going to be looking at moving platforms. We're not entirely sure when it's going to happen. But we're planning to make the switch across. We've had some people say that Twitch is maybe a little bit high barrier to entry, or it's not quite as accessible as some other platforms. So what we're going to be doing, we're going to be moving this across the live streams across onto YouTube directly. So hopefully that makes it a little bit easier for people to tune in and be around, hang out while we're doing all this. So if you are a follower on Twitch and you want to keep up to date on stuff, make sure you go follow us on YouTube. But at the very least, next week we'll still be here on Twitch. So don't drop your subscription just yet.
No.
Don't drop your follow just yet. We are gonna hopefully move all that across in the over the next weeks and maybe month or so. But that's about it from us tonight. As we said, very special episode. Thank you so much for spending some of your Friday night with us. We know you could be out at the club or at the pub or at a gig or whatever. So we really appreciate you spending your time with us at WAYLON on this.
If you see this
Friday night, WAYLON, if you happen to see this, my man, absolute legend.
Much love.
We could not be more appreciative of getting you on here, my man. That was amazing. It was so good to talk to you, and hopefully we'll see you at these shows. That's about it from us for tonight. We decided that we're going to raid some random channel, so have fun with that. It's going to be music related, so stick around if you want some. Don't go anywhere. You're going to be jumping onto that, but that's about us done for today. So thank you very much, everybody.